Welcome to another live episode of the Targeted Podcast. I believe this is episode 7. So today we're going to talk about this COVID vaccine. And then after that, I know we keep talking about The Mandalorian. We just can't help it. I know
it's not a Star Wars themed show, guys. I promise. This is too much
Yes.
going on.
You know, after last time, you know, I was like, guys, you know, we got to stop talking about Mandalorian every episode. And we were actually supposed to go live last week, but we didn't. You know, just
thanks, Omar.
All right, well, like there you go. My schedule. So some of our schedules didn't work out. So we actually were going to do other topics and at least give like one episode in between before getting back in Mandalorian, but we can't help it. We are going to get into some spoilers of the Mandalorian season finale. So after the COVID vaccine, we'll give you a heads up. If you don't want a spoiler, drop off. Don't blame us. Do something better with your life if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes. Don't drop off. Just mute it. Don't drop off. Just mute it. We need the viewers.
To the 2 people that's watching us, please don't drop off.
Don't drop.
Look, I mean, if we have 2 viewers and one person drops off, that's a 50% loss. So I agree with Nicholas.
Just mute it. Mute it.
Right. All right. So I'm going to pass it on over to Nicholas, and he's going to introduce us into our first topic.
All right, yeah, man. So I'm really excited to talk about the vaccine. There's a lot going on out there as far as like conspiracy theorists and all this other crazy stuff that people are posting. But I just wanted to give like some actual real information about the vaccine. And this isn't, I did a little research. This isn't like from some random website. This is from the CDC, right? And I'm not a biology major. I'm not a doctor. You know, I know nothing about this stuff, but I did find it pretty interesting. Like it's based on some pretty cutting edge technology. So the vaccine is actually called an mRNA vaccine. Stands for messenger RNA. And this is like something brand new that they, just came out with. And basically what it does is for most vaccines, like your flu vaccine, to trigger an immune response, it will put a weakened or inactivated germ in your body. And that's how your immune system learns to create the antibodies necessary to fight it off, right? But for an mRNA vaccine, it actually teaches your cells how to make a protein or even just a part of a protein that can trigger that same immune response inside your body. So that's what this particular vaccine does. So they're not putting like a weakened or inactivated version of the virus into your body. They're actually teaches your body how to create a harmless piece of what they call the spike protein. And the spike protein is something that's found on the surface of the virus that causes COVID-19. So a couple of other things that I found on the CDC vaccine were actually pretty interesting too. So it was like 8 simple facts. I probably won't read them all, but one thing I didn't realize is that there's actually 2 doses required in the vaccine. So you get like a second shot 3 to 4 weeks after your first shot. Supplies are limited, as everybody knows. What was the other thing? And then I did a little bit of research on whether or not it affects pregnant people. There actually isn't too much evidence to suggest that it will harm you or anything like that. But this is still kind of an unknown, right? Because they just discovered the virus like in 2019. They did all this research to come up with this vaccine now. So they're kind of saying like, they want everybody to get it, but if you decide not to because you're pregnant, then I'm sure that they would understand that too. So just something to consider. But the thought is that because of the type of vaccine it is, nothing would get passed to the fetus, right? You're not passing the germ to the fetus because they're not injecting your body with the germ itself. So just a little bit of science for the people out there. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, I did have some misgivings about the vaccine and how quickly it was developed. You know, I do have some friends that are doctors. I have some friends that work in the FDA, and you know, I'm starting to really just come around to just, you know, just get it over with. You know, it's one of those things that just needs to be done so we can get back to life as we knew it. And one of the other things that I saw as well is that, you know, just because you get vaccinated, it doesn't mean that you can't still come down with it. You know, it's like the flu vaccine, right? They do their best to kind of estimate and gauge what's out there, and then they come up with a vaccine based on that, but you may get a variation that's a little bit different. And same thing could happen here. But it's better to be, you know, 95% protected than not at all. So that's my little spiel. And, you know, I'll hand it over to Heath.
Hold on. I just want to say something. This is Nicholas. In conclusion, I believe that the COVID-19 vaccine is very effective because Wikipedia.com.
Like I said, I went to the CDC website. There's no Wikipedia. Anybody can update Wikipedia, people. Okay, that's why it's not.
Was that? Did you have the introduction and conclusion and like the 3 paragraphs in the body too?
I have.
You wrote
You
that out?
want to know what I have? I have 8 things to know about the U.S. COVID-19 vaccination program and understanding mRNA COVID-19 vaccines.
I love how Nicholas sits and drops knowledge on him, and then Omar Sims just comes up and just acts like he's and this nerd's like,
right? I'm trying to educate the people out there, man.
I was actually gonna be like, thank you, Nicholas, for that information. But here's Omar looking again. It's like, man,
hey, that's not my job in the show. That's your job, Sahid.
Whatever.
He's a troll. He's 50 Cent. He's a troll.
He is. Omar is a troll. He is. No, what Nicholas said is right. Like, so thanks for that information. It's really good. Yeah, just kind of reiterate some of the things that you said. So yeah, the vaccines, they both require 2 shots. One a booster shot, and then one a primer shot, and then one the actual booster shot. We don't know if it affects women. Little fun fact, the vaccines have to be kept at a different temperature, right? So the Moderna vaccine has to be kept at a -4 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, while the Pfizer has to be kept at a 94-degree temperature. So that's going to be a little bit harder to...
-94?
-94 degree, right? So that's going to be a little bit harder to like get around. During some of the studies, 4 people, so they tested like 60,000 people. 4 people developed Bell's palsy. And what Bell's palsy is a situation where half your face gets like numb and like it's droop, and it's usually fixed through steroids. So none of this is lethal, and they have no connection with like what happened with the vaccine and them developing that disorder. So I mean, yeah, I like Nicholas too, right? I was in the same boat where it's like I'm a little concerned, like when you have someone like Trump who's essentially tried to guess the cure of the vaccine, like on national television, to say, "Oh, we should
drink some bleach,
just some bleach, some sunlight, you know, whatever." Like you're a little concerned, right? But,
got my bleach shot right here. Right?
That's his vaccine. That's how you just cured corona right there. There you go. Yeah, but with that being said, yeah, I'm a lot more confident with it now. I feel more safe with my family taking it. We still don't know the long-term effects of it. I think one point that Nicholas alluded to was good, is that we don't know how vaccinated we will be, right? Like with the flu vaccine, we take one every year, right? Because it's a strain that changes a lot. We haven't seen this as much with coronavirus, though they are reporting a new strain of coronavirus in the UK. So they actually just recently in the news, a lot of countries have just like shut off like travel from the UK because there's a new strain of coronavirus. And I have no idea if this vaccine treats it or not. So
Actually, speaking of that, right?
yeah.
Did you hear about the case where this girl traveled to the Cayman Islands?
Oh, I did hear
Cayman
about this.
Islands have a policy where, like, if you're not from there and you're coming there from outside the country, you must be quarantined for a certain amount of time. This young lady went to the islands. They give you a watch, I guess, so they could determine your location on, GPS and all that type of stuff.
Wow.
Takes off the watch and rolls out, like 2 days later. And they arrest her. And I think she was supposed to be, well, it carried like a hefty jail sentence.
Oh, yeah.
And then she made the news or whatever, like, this is ridiculous, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, you broke the law. Like, don't try to pull like some white privilege Americanism crap over there. Like, it's over.
How long was she locked up for?
So I think
I don't know if they sentenced her yet.
So I just read this like maybe 10 minutes ago, like before we came on. So, and I didn't read it in fully, but her sentence got reduced to I think 4 months. I think it was 8 months.
Holy crap!
Okay, yeah.
Right? So, but like what Nicholas said is on the money, right?
I have no sympathy for you. Like,
just typical girl, like very privileged, going out to the Cayman Islands, thinking she can do whatever she wants, thinks she's above the law.
This ain't America.
They don't play.
Where you can decide not to wear a mask because it's against your freedoms. They
Yeah,
ain't everywhere.
no,
Ain't
exactly.
like
That is so true.
Like
that is so true. And yeah, I mean you're right. I totally agree with you. I was gonna say something actually, kind of circling back a little bit about, the virus or the vaccine, not really being recommended for women that are pregnant because it's not really known what the effects are. But interestingly, actually, I read unfortunately, I don't remember the source, but it was from a scientific website maybe about a week and a half or so ago that was saying that antibodies, though, there's been, I think, some evidence, not proof, some evidence that they're starting to see that that's actually going into the fetus. Some of the COVID like antibodies. And I think that has to do with like something.
I mean, I think that makes sense though, because when a pregnant woman gets sick, again, I'm not a doctor obviously, but I think the fetus doesn't necessarily get sick, you know what I mean? So antibodies and things are passed along through through there, and then through like breast milk and things of that nature. That's why it's so important to breastfeed or whatever, so they can build up the immunizations like from the mother. So
yes, I thought that was really interesting. And then kind of what you were talking about, Sahid, about the second strain, right, coming up in the UK. It's scary. What they're actually saying is they think it's more deadly. But if you guys remember in our last live episode, we also talked about, or whatever the last episode was where we talked about COVID. And I had mentioned that one of my contacts had given me a heads up a few months ago about a new strain that they were tracking is coming out of like Texas. And that was more contagious. And because it had learned to like basically go over masks, but it wasn't as deadly. So that was literally, that person literally told me a couple of weeks before the major media outlets, started going on about, new, not strain, new wave of COVID. And now we're hearing this. So I don't know if it's the same thing or not. I haven't talked to, to that person yet to see. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
So since you're in the Illuminati, does that mean we get the vaccine a little earlier because we know you, or how does that work?
No, you have to be 38th degree and above Illuminati. Sorry.
I love how Omar's talking about, my contacts.
Right. Who are you?
It's not all official. I was like, who's this guy?
Actually, one of my, like I said, contacts, works for a specific agency. So
his contact is actually that orange bear that's behind him. That's
yeah. All right.
A nice teddy bear you got there, buddy.
Thanks.
So it's again. I was actually went to the doctor's office the other day, and Yeah, we're hopeful. She was actually pregnant, my doctor, when I went for the physical. So I'm not sure how she's gonna
Wow.
take the take it or not. I mean, she says she's gonna take it. I don't think there's any difference between the two vaccines, except for just what we mentioned about storage and whatnot. So, I mean, if we can just convince the anti-vaxxers to like, shut up and like take the medicine, so we can like get through this, then yeah, well, we can finally get through this. And I mean, the
Well,
good news
I
is the Spanish flu lasted 2 years, right? We're gonna have a competent president, thankfully. Hopefully, we'll get this over at least by the end of the year, if not sooner, end of next year.
Well, hopefully some new senators too.
Yeah, hopefully some new senators too. Yeah, Georgia, please, Georgia, please.
Nothing's gonna change it.
So one thing you mentioned about like anti-vaxxers and stuff, I just want to point out that in the past, I had actually not too long ago I was saying I wasn't really sure if I was going to get the first um, round of these vaccines, right? And if it becomes available to me now, it's same thing like Nicholas said. Like I was skeptical at first, but now after speaking with like friends that are like nurses or doctors and stuff, and just reading all this like stuff online, the research, people are calling this actually like quite like a miraculous vaccine, not like your normal vaccine. And it had to do something with what you were talking about, Nicholas, that it's like an mRNA vaccine or something, and it's different from how they usually are. Again, I don't have that. My sister is the one that's studying infectious diseases, not me. I can't speak to it at the right terminology and all that. But basically, long story short, I've gotten the gist of it is that anyone in the medical field that I've talked to or anything that I've read, online from seemingly reputable, like scientific or medical websites, seem to be saying nothing but positive things about it. So, having experienced COVID before and still living through, the symptoms 6, 7 months later, still, suffering is a little extreme at this point. I think I've gotten a lot better with it, but still dealing with it. I certainly would, if when that's presentable, or I mean, when the opportunity presents itself to me.
Yeah. A couple
Yeah, I mean, I
things.
think that's the thing, right? It's like, so I know that healthcare professionals and long-term residents at like senior care facilities are first. I'm really curious to see how long it's going to be until it's widely available too. So because I think I don't really think we're going to be getting anything. Anybody that is really going to be getting anything until next summer sometime or something like that. Like
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want to put some context to it, Google just announced that they won't be opening their doors like to their employees till at least September. My
Holy
company
crap.
that I work for said that they're going to delay to March, and they say that's very optimistic. So I'm not expecting to be back in the office till
Wow.
September either.
right.
Like
I'm not hearing. I'm hearing end of summer too.
Yeah.
All right, so that all makes sense because the thing is, you can get the vaccine, you can get vaccinated, right? But all that does is you become asymptomatic. That does not mean you cannot pass it on to someone else.
Yeah,
So
great
you
point.
get
Great point.
I'm not sure I would use that terminology.
Yeah, I wouldn't use asymptomatic.
You say that you're.
So
you're
that's
asymptomatic.
actually the same terminology that I read it as in a scientific article making that same point, actually, that it did specifically say asymptomatic. And even if you don't get like actually, like the symptoms of it or anything, you can still have the virus on you, like on your skin or something, or whatever it is, right? And you can still pass it on to someone, even though you're basically covered, the vaccine's working for you, and you cross paths with someone outside who didn't get vaccinated. They're an anti-vaxxer, right? And so they can catch it. So it can still spread. And a few months ago, I remember reading something from, again, unfortunately, I didn't come prepared like you, Nicholas. I don't have like my citations and notes and stuff.
we're 7 episodes in, guys. You gotta.
I know, right?
Honestly.
Hey, Nicholas, we should have got Omar's sister on the show. Why is he here? We need to get Omar's sister on the show.
Very true.
No.
Get out of here.
If you're here watching this is to my sister. We are not inviting you. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
Saheed
kidding.
probably has ulterior motives anyway. So.
Oh, come on.
Oh, she is married and she is. Actually, I was about to say what her age is, but no, she would kill me if I ever said that.
I can start
No.
killing you. No, but to your point, Omar. So I did read something similar. I, I mean, maybe asymptomatic is the word, but what I read was that you don't get the symptoms of COVID. However, they have not tested whether you can still pass it along or not. So even if you do get a vaccine, you're still required to wear a mask and whatnot if we decide to keep wearing masks.
So
That's
this is
my
an
fear.
endemic. It's an endemic, and that's what I was going to say. Is that the scientist that had read this from his prediction a few months ago? Unfortunately, like I said, that's what I was going to say. I forgot his name. He was talking about this being an endemic, right? Meaning, for those that don't know, an endemic is a virus that will never really truly go away. And every year, you'll just have to keep getting a new vaccine, like we already do for the seasonal flu. And because this virus has, is in pretty much every corner of the world now, I genuinely believe that. And I think that, a lot of people are expecting 2021 to go back to 2019 and, pre-2020, normalcy. But we said this in our very first episode as well. And you and I have said, all three of us have talked about this several times with each other, that there's going to be a new normal. And unfortunately, this is the new normal. Even when everyone's going to get vaccinated, there'll still be new strains. I hate to say it. I could be wrong. I hope not. But this is what I'm mentally preparing myself for, is that it's going to continue to be like this, hopefully not as bad. But the main thing right now that I want to see, and we don't got to get into this topic right now, but I want more government protections for small businesses. I get, cracking down on COVID restrictions and this and that. It doesn't matter if you cannot protect the small businesses, and going into this ridiculous stimulus package, sending, how much money to all these other countries. And, all of my friends that were like pro-Trump supporters, even, right? Like on like Facebook and stuff, and people are anti-Trump. Everyone's posting the same thing about this bill, the stimulus package, the stimulus bill, or whatever. It's super shady. But anyhow, I don't want to. We only have a couple minutes left before we go on to our next topic. So
Hey, you're getting $600, man. Don't complain. $600 whole.
Socialism. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right.
$2.
So here's my fear. Here's my fear with the vaccine before we move on. Right.
Yeah.
My fear is that by taking the vaccine, people will feel empowered and just go out here like it is 2017. Damn, I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't need a mask. I don't need anything. I can do whatever I want now.
Oh, people are doing that now after they caught the virus. People did that now when they caught the virus, right? You saw Trump. He caught the virus. He got some steroids. The guy's like,
wait,
don't let COVID control you.
Who? Trump? I didn't hear who you said.
Trump.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, he caught the virus. He's like, oh, don't let COVID control you. So, yeah.
Don't talk about Jesus like that.
Come again?
Don't talk about Jesus like that.
Oh, God.
Don't worry, I'm going to edit that out before I post it.
Please do. Please do.
Will not use that name and his name saying anything at all. Never.
Oh, you should know better, actually. Aren't you a little more religious?
I am not insulting the name of Jesus, just more of mocking the idea that some people believe that he's like a Messiah. But anyhow, let's move on.
He's the dear leader.
Yes.
Dear leader.
Yes.
Omar's an atheist. Okay.
If Mom, Dad, if you are somehow watching this now or later, don't believe him. I still believe in God. Don't beat me.
It's lies. Lies. He confided in me that he's
Call us if you want the truth.
Yes. We'll tell you the truth about Omar.
Oh Lord. All right. Do we want to hit any other really quick point on COVID before we?
No, I think we got everything. I think to hit your point though. I'm concerned too that people are already being reckless, right?
Yeah.
Now, like I drove to Louisiana, not to say that I should drive to Louisiana, but to try to to kind of just be as safe as possible, right?
Yeah.
Not just to be as safe as you can, right? It's not perfect, far from it, right? I mean, I still have to stop to get gas. There's still chances that things could happen, but just try to reduce as much contact as possible. People out here just like TDC said, like limit your Thanksgiving to like 10 people.
Yeah.
Seeing pictures out there, like people just full family, no mask, nothing, right? So, and the same thing with Christmas, right? So,
All fun and games till mom and dad have that joint in the hospital. All fun and games.
yeah. So a really good friend of mine, actually, his mom who's doing better, was on freaking life support recently,
Oh
right?
my God. Why?
I mean, so she caught COVID. His whole family got COVID, right? His whole family. Um,
Like at the same time.
yeah, around the same time, right?
Okay.
He almost lost his wife, right? His wife was able to go through it. He came out of it. His dad came out of it. His mom's still in the hospital, right? And they're gonna have to transfer her to like a New Orleans hospital, and that's gonna cost a crap ton of money to do
Ah.
so. And it's so frustrating to hear this. I mean, not to allude to a point that what you were saying, Omar, too, but like I don't think health decisions should be financial decisions.
Right.
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 But
Right. Right. Yeah.
that's a totally different discussion, a
Yeah.
totally different topic. But yeah, but to me, it really points to how human are you? Like a lot of people, I hear this all the time about how nice they are, how they love everyone and stuff like that. But like truly, like if you truly did that, right? Truly, then you would, abide by social distance guidelines. You won't whine about masks, right? And you'll do your best to keep your friends and family safe. Like that's true love, right? Of humanity, not whining about like strict social distancing guidelines. But
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Absolutely. I like one of my students at my dojo, right? Like we train in person now for the past month and a half, and we wear masks and stuff. But he told me himself, like he does not care about wearing a mask, like walking around without a mask. He will walk around without a mask, but I like what he said. He will walk around without a mask if he doesn't have to. If he's around, like there's rules that say you have to wear it, he doesn't complain about it. He'll do it. Like even in the dojo, he'll wear his mask, right? Like he's cool with respecting other people's opinions. He's just not one of those that's like, you know, I'm offended that you're forcing me to wear a mask. He's not one of those.
So that I can understand.
Right.
I mean, I don't particularly like wearing masks, but I do because
who does?
you
Who does?
you
Maybe
gotta
Omar
keep
is a
everybody
ninja.
safe. You know what I mean? I
Omar
say
is a ninja.
honestly,
He likes to wear a mask.
the only time I'm not wearing a mask is like obviously when I'm home or like if I just go out for a walk. That's about it. And even then, sometimes I'm out for a walk. Sometimes I mean, if I see anybody, I'm crossing on the other side or whatever.
All right,
you know
come
what
on.
I'm saying? Like,
All three of us have facial hair. Tell me that there are days that you have to step outside and you don't care about shaving because you could just put on like a mask or whatever. Is that just me? Come on.
I mean, at this point where I'm home like almost 24/7, I could care less about my
Me
appearance.
too.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't shave anyway, so this is kind of what this is gonna get until I get a haircut. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.